Hayley Mills was born on April 18, 1946 in London, England. Her full name is Hayley Catherine Rose Vivian Mills. Hayley was meant to have a life in the arts from the very start. She came from a famous theater family. Her dad, Sir John Mills, was one of the most respected actors in Britain. Her mom, Mary Hayley Bell, wrote plays, books, and acted too, growing up surrounded by creativity. Hayley learned about storytelling, performing, and showing emotions like it was second nature. Her childhood wasn't just about being lucky and seeing art everywhere. It was also about learning discipline and watching closely. She grew up watching theater shows and movie sets from behind the scenes. She learned early on that acting wasn't just about looking glamorous. It was about being committed, being patient, and being emotionally honest. This strong foundation showed up in her acting. Even when she was young, she acted with a wisdom that went way beyond her age. Hayley Mills started her movie career in the late 1950s, but her big breakthrough came with Disney's Tiger Bay in 1959. That role showed everyone she was an amazing young talent. Her performance won her a Special Academy Award. That was a huge honor that immediately put her among the most promising actors of her time. Back then, many child actors had trouble balancing being innocent while still being believable. But Hayley had a special gift for showing depth, understanding, and quiet smarts. This made audiences connect with her right away. The 1960s was when Hayley Mills became an international superstar, especially through her work with Walt Disney Studios. Movies like Pollyanna in 1960, The Parent Trap in 1961, That Darn Cat in 1965, and In Search of the Castaways in 1962 made her a cultural icon. In Pollyanna, she played a young girl who was always optimistic. This really touched audiences who were living through a fast-changing world. Her performance wasn't just happy and cheerful. It was real, emotionally grounded, and deeply human. The film is still one of Disney's most loved classics. Many people say Hayley's performance is what makes the movie so special. Maybe her most famous role was in The Parent Trap. In that movie, she played identical twins with incredible technical skill and emotional clarity. Most child actors her age would have struggled to make each character different, but Hayley gave each twin her own unique personality, way of moving, and emotional feel. The film became a cornerstone of family movies and still delights new generations today. It stands as proof of her extraordinary talent. But Hayley Mills' career was never limited to just being a child star. As she grew up, she made the brave choice to step away from the Disney image. She wanted to take on more complex and challenging roles. This change wasn't easy. Many former child stars struggled with the same thing, but Hayley faced it with honesty and strength. In the late 1960s and 1970s, she appeared in movies and stage shows that explored darker and more complicated themes. This proved how versatile and deep she was as an actress. Her stage career grew alongside her film work. Hayley Mills found a deep connection to theater. There, her performances could breathe and change night after night. She appeared in many West End productions and later toured around the world. People praised her for her emotional intelligence and powerful presence. Theater let her fully explore character development. She often talked about it as the place where she felt most creatively fulfilled. On top of her acting achievements, Hayley Mills is also a talented author. Her memoir, Forever Young, offers an honest and thoughtful look at fame, childhood, personal struggle, and survival. In it, she talks openly about the pressures of early success. She discusses the challenges of being an adult and the importance of accepting yourself. Her writing shows humility and insight. It reveals a woman who has lived a full life, learned a lot, and come through it all with grace. Even as the years went by, Hayley Mills kept proving that her talent wasn't stuck in just one time period. She easily reinvented herself and took on roles that showed her depth, warmth, and lasting screen presence. In 2010, she came back to family-friendly storytelling with Mandy and the Cherokee Treasure. It was a film based on the beloved Mandy novels by Lois Gladys Leopard. Her involvement gave the movie a sense of classic charm and believability. It connected a new generation of viewers to an actress whose career had once defined wholesome, heartfelt movies. The next year, Mills took on a very different challenge in Foster in 2011. She starred opposite Tony Collette in a tender, emotionally touching drama about longing, loss, and unexpected connections. The film let Mills show a quieter, more reflective side of her talent. It reminded audiences that her ability to show deep emotion with subtlety had only gotten stronger with time. Critics and viewers both noticed how naturally she fit into modern storytelling. She was never overshadowed by the modern setting, but never diminished by it either. Her television appearances throughout the 2000s and 2010s further proved her reputation as a versatile and dependable performer. In 2014, Mills delighted fans by guest starring in popular British series, like Midsummer Murders and Moving On. She easily slipped into sharply written episode roles that showed her ease with complex characters and dramatic depth. These appearances weren't just nostalgia-driven cameos. They were confident, fully realized performances that showed she was still relevant in modern television. In 2019, she joined the cast of Pitching in, a warm, character-driven series set in a holiday park in Wales. The role once again showed Mills's ability to bring humanity and authenticity to ensemble casts. She enriched the show with her experience and gentle authority. 2 years later, she reached another milestone when she played Michael Sheen's mother in the festive drama Last Train to Christmas in 2021. The performance carried emotional weight and family sincerity. It offered audiences a touching portrayal that meant something well beyond a holiday setting. Mills showed no signs of slowing down in 2022. She took on a recurring role in the television thriller Compulsion. The series let her explore darker, more psychologically complex material. It proved that even after a lifetime in front of the camera, she still wasn't afraid to push herself into challenging territory. Her momentum continued into 2023 when she appeared in the 5th series of ITV's acclaimed crime drama, Unforgotten. She portrayed Lady Emma Hume with grace and layered intensity. The role placed her at the center of a gripping story. Her performance was widely appreciated for its emotional restraint and quiet power. Later that same year, Mills delighted international audiences with her appearance in The Wheel of Time. She stepped into the epic fantasy world and once again showed her remarkable ability to adapt to any genre. From family adventures and intimate dramas to crime thrillers and sweeping fantasy, Hayley Mills' later career stands as proof of her lasting talent, timeless appeal, and unwavering passion for storytelling. In 1966, amid the creative energy and emotional intensity of filming The Family Way, a young Hayley Mills, just 20 years old and already a seasoned star, found her life taking an unexpected and life-changing turn. On set, she met Roy Bolting, the distinguished and accomplished director who was 53 at the time. Their connection, formed across a wide generational gap, quickly deepened into a powerful personal bond. What began as a professional collaboration gradually evolved into a romance that fascinated the press and challenged what people expected in that era. After several years together, Mills and Bolting married in 1971. They stepped into a shared life that blended art, intellect, and domestic quiet. The couple split their time between a stylish flat in London's Chelsea, at the heart of Britain's cultural and artistic scene, and the romantic historic Cobstone Windmill in Ibstone, Buckinghamshire. The property seemed to mirror their unconventional love story. Their union produced a son, Crispian Mills, whose creative destiny would later unfold in a striking fashion. Crispian grew up to become the lead singer and guitarist of the influential rock band Kula Shaker. He carved out his own place in music history and continued the family's artistic legacy. Despite the richness of their shared experiences, Mills and Bolting's marriage came to an end in 1977, closing a significant chapter in her personal life. Not long after, Mills started another deeply meaningful relationship, this time with actor Lee Lawson. From this union came her second son, Jason Lawson, born in July 1976. Mills embraced motherhood once again, balancing the demands of her career with the joys and challenges of raising two sons. Although her relationship with Lawson eventually ended in the early 1980s, it marked another important period of emotional growth and self-discovery for the actress. The aftermath of this breakup proved to be a turning point. During the 1980s, Mills began a profound inward journey, exploring spirituality and developing a sincere interest in various Eastern religions. This quest wasn't just a passing curiosity. It was a thoughtful and intellectual engagement with ideas about faith, meaning, and the nature of existence. Her spiritual explorations found expression through her writing and editorial work. In 1984, she wrote the preface to the Hare Krishna book of vegetarian cooking. She lent her voice and perspective to a project rooted in compassion and mindful living, though she herself was not a member of the Hare Krishna movement. A few years later, in 1988, she co-edited My God, Letters from a Famous on God, and The Life Hereafter alongside Marcus Milan. It was a compelling collection that gathered reflections on spirituality from well-known figures. This further showed her thoughtful engagement with life's larger questions. In 1997, love once again entered Mills's life in a way that felt both surprising and lasting. She met actor and writer Ferdas Bomji while touring together in leading roles in The King and I. Their connection sparked on stage, and the strength they found often grew into a lasting partnership. Despite a 20-year age difference, their relationship proved resilient and deeply supportive. As of 2023, Bomji remains Mills's partner, standing beside her as both companion and creative equal. It's a testament to a life marked not only by fame and talent, but by continual reinvention, emotional honesty, and openness to love in all its unexpected forms. At 79 years old, Hayley Mills speaks with a clarity and emotional honesty that only time can provide. Decades removed from her days as one of Disney's most shining child stars, she no longer feels a need to protect illusions or soften uncomfortable memories. When she reflects on her career now, she does so with gratitude. But she also does it with a willingness to face the complicated truths that shaped her early life in Hollywood. One of those truths centers on Brian Keith, her co-star in The Parent Trap and several other Disney productions. He was a man the public long viewed as a warm, fatherly figure both on and off screen. To the world, Brian was America's dad. Mills says he had that booming voice, that bear-like presence, and an ease that made people feel safe. But what audiences saw was only part of the story. When Mills first worked with Keith in 1961, she was just a teenager navigating fame that had arrived far too quickly. Keith, already an established actor, was meant to be a steadying influence, a protector of sorts. And in many ways he was. Mills has often acknowledged that he could be generous, encouraging, and fiercely professional on set. He looked out for me in practical ways, she recalls. He made sure I was treated fairly, that I wasn't pushed beyond what I could handle as a child. Yet behind that protective exterior was a darker complexity that Mills only fully understood much later. Brian carried a lot of pain, she admits. It wasn't something he talked about openly, and in those days men simply didn't, especially not men who were supposed to be strong. Mills describes Keith as a man haunted by inner battles, mood swings, deep sadness, and a rigid emotional restraint shaped by his generation. As a young actress, she sensed something was wrong, but didn't have the words to name it. You feel these things as a child, she says. You know when the atmosphere shifts. You know when someone is hurting, even if no one explains it to you. Looking back, she believes Keith's struggles mirror the broader culture of Hollywood at the time. It was a place where vulnerability was hidden and pain was often numbed rather than addressed. There was no room for gentleness toward oneself. Mills explains, if you were suffering, you buried it and kept working. Keith's tragic death by suicide in 1997 cast a long shadow over those memories. For Mills, it brought a profound sadness mixed with understanding. When I heard how his life ended, my heart broke, she says quietly, not because I was shocked, but because it finally made sense. She emphasizes that her reflections are not accusations, nor attempts to diminish his talent or kindness. Instead, they are acknowledgments of truth, messy, human, and unresolved. I don't want to rewrite Brian as a villain or a saint, Mills insists. He was neither. He was a deeply gifted man who didn't receive the help he needed. Now at 79, Mills sees her willingness to speak honestly as a responsibility, particularly for those who grew up idolizing Hollywood figures without understanding the cost of that world. We did so much pretending back then, she says. Pretending everything was fine, pretending we were happy, pretending the system wasn't damaging people. Her reflections also carry a note of compassion for herself, for Keith, and for an industry that often failed its own. I survived it, but many didn't, she says. Brian didn't. And that's the tragedy in telling the truth. Now, Mills hopes to honor the full reality of her experiences rather than the polished myths surrounding them. The truth isn't cruel, she concludes. What's cruel is silence. And I don't want to be silent anymore. At 79, Hayley Mills isn't tearing down a legacy. She's humanizing it. And in doing so, she reminds us that behind Hollywood's brightest smiles often lived unspoken pain, waiting decades for the courage to finally be named.